Friday qualifying done and dusted at Bathurst, and Cam Waters leads the way. It's been an eventful Friday at Bathurst. The rain finally came that was promised yesterday. It was very wet today. We'll start off with Super 2. Zach Best put it on pole in qualifying, but he also crashed coming out of the chase, so there was a little bit of repairing to do before the race. Probably didn't matter too much for them in the end. They started off 2 laps under the safety car, 3 racing laps before someone hit the wall. Ange Mazuris was the one at turn 2, burying it under the tyre barrier. It looked probably a lot worse than what it is. They won't know until the car gets pulled apart. But yeah, it just looked a lot of superficial damage to it. But then they ran around behind the safety car for another 6 laps before finally calling the race. So a lot of effort for 3 laps of racing where not a lot really happened in that one. The third practice session for supercars was a dry one. No one touched the wall in this session. A few little offs, but no damage in this one. Davison was fastest. SVG looked really sketchy. He kept trying to set a lap, I suppose. He ended up 10th. It just didn't look really comfortable. But Brody, Mostert, Waters, they all looked really good during that session. Cars looked really comfortable, and if it was a dry race, those 3 and obviously Davison would be looking really good. Practice 4, and finally it was a full wet session. Hazelwood was the first to hit the wall. Just looked like he locked up heading into turn 2. A little bit of damage to the car. He did get involved in repairing it, so that was good to see. Slady gave his car a nice little nudge on the front left-hand corner. Nothing too bad, but just one of those things that you don't want to do. Cameron Hill, he definitely won the pit entry spinning battle out of everyone. That was a very spectacular spin from him. Craig Lowndes, a notable second on that one, where it bounced through and blew the whole front grille off the car. Apparently didn't really get any mud or anything into the car, but that looked quite spectacular. Macca Jones came off at the chase and gave the wall a very light nudge. That one could have been a hell of a lot bigger, but Will Brown caused the first, what I would call a big one over the weekend. He coming up the hill, bit of work for them before qualifying. He did get out there in qualifying, so they did get to fix it, but that one caused a red flag, ended the session 5 minutes early. And the big note on that one, Richie Stanaway in 4th, which then leading into qualifying, very, very impressive, and it just probably got more impressive after that. But as for the qualifying notes, very wet session there. Jake Kostecki going for the full tradie look on that car. Just covered in mud. I haven't got enough fingers on my 2 hands to count how many times that car has been off track this weekend. It's just been all over the place. The other big talking point, I suppose, from this session, Shane Van Gisbergen trying to pass Macaulay Jones right at the end there. They're coming over Skyline down into the dipper, and he tries to pass and then puts him into... I've said this before, Shane's brain, so like he gets really carried away with all this gamesmanship that Scafey goes on about, and this was just I don't know why you would try to pass someone through there. If you're passing someone, you've obviously buggered the lap anyway, and just trying to, even if he's like, why try and pass him through? It's quite obvious, someone in qualifying would be focusing on their laps there, and even if you saw someone like Shane coming up behind you, you wouldn't be expecting them to try and pass through there. It seemed really strange. Apparently they're going to investigate that, so at time of recording I'm not sure what's happening with that one. But the shootout order for tomorrow will be Will Brown, he was 10th in qualifying, Brody Kostecki 9th, James Courtney 8th, Nick Percat, Will Davison, then Richie Stanaway in 5th. Just an awesome effort from the wildcard. I was not predicting that to be the top of the wildcard pile, but that's right up the top end of the field. Shane Van Gisbergen ended up 4th, a little bit of a cloud over that one at the moment. Chaz Mostert 3rd, Lee Holdsworth 2nd. The lead Grove car. that was an awesome session from him. And of course, Cam Waters in first. Cam was very impressive today. The misses of the guys who we probably would have expected to be in the top 10. Anton was 11th, not too bad. Whincup, I haven't even mentioned that yet. Let's get into that in a second. Whincup ended up 14th. Lowndes, I expected them to be the top wildcard. He was 16th. Reynolds, all the way down in 18th when his teammate was second. That should be the lead Grove car. That will be interesting with them coming from that far back. If it is, the race is wet, they do have a really good chance. The other surprise, or not so much of a surprise, Matt Charter outqualified Jack Smith and Tim Slade. Not surprised so much about the Jack Smith one, but yeah, Tim Slade. Something must have gone wrong there for Blanchard's, because that just doesn't seem right. Now, Jamie Whincup, why was he qualifying the car? If you'd said at the start of the weekend that Whincup would be qualifying that, I would have been very surprised. Anyway, he did qualify the car. It kind of didn't work for them. They ended up 14th. But I'm not sure. It just shows no faith in your lead driver. Will Whincup be the main driver on Sunday if it is a bit wet? I mean, Feeney would, really be able to take it to guys like Tander and that. It's surprising to me. So anyway, shootout tomorrow. If it's wet, it just throws a big spanner in the works. If it's dry, I think probably going to be, Will Davison, I would predict for pole if it is going to be dry. If it's wet, it could be anyone. If it's wet, I'll go for Richie Stanaway for pole, just to, really as a standout there. So down in the comments, let me know what you think. Competition entries are closed off now because we've had qualifying, although if it's wet, anything could happen. So the form guide just gets thrown out the window. But top 10 shootout tomorrow. That's a big exciting one. Until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.